Hello, and welcome to Leading Inspired Learning, a Strive podcast.
All right, welcome to Leading Inspired Learning, a Strive podcast. I am thrilled that we're welcoming back for a second time. Marcia Nicole, welcome back.
Ooh, so excited to be back.
So last time we were just audio. Now you have the cameras on you.
I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
We're evolving.
Yes.
We're evolving.
Oh, that's the word.
It's the word of the day. Word of the day. Amazing. Well, if you haven't tuned into last year's episode, last year we talked about having uncomfortable conversations with a Black educator was the title of the episode. And we dug into your experiences, being a Black educator and what you have faced in your career. And your career continues to evolve.
It does.
You are currently undergoing your PhD.
Yes. Whew, made it through the first year of my PhD. And continuing to learn and to thrive, but most of all, to listen.
Yeah.
To really listen to what's happening around me, especially within all levels of education.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of feedback right now about what's happening in education, and just before, when you're so busy and sometimes being so isolated in what you're learning and where you're at in your programs or in your classrooms, that sometimes you forget to look at the bigger picture. And that's what the PhD is giving me a little bit.
I love that.
Pause to look at the bigger picture.
And it means you get to frequent our beautiful little London here often, doing it at Western, which is great. And how's your class? Do you have peers and educators who have similar experience to you?
Actually, it's a wide range of us.
Okay.
So some of us do not have any education background.
Interesting.
And some of them are really interested in supporting international English learners within education. A lot of talk around AI in education and what that looks like. So a lot of research coming around that. But for me, it's definitely about the leadership roles for ethnicity in early childhood education. How do we get into those rooms? How do we get seen? How do we be visible? And for me, it's opened up so much more research, so much more of what I want to dive into. But I absolutely love the fact that we're all different.
Good.
Because we all have a different perspective on learning and education. And we're not all coming from a Western culture and background, right?
Oh, that's great.
That's absolutely.
That opens up such additional perspectives that we need in education. And that's so important. I mean, that's why professional learning is so important to begin with.
Yes.
We're seeing a lot of folks come out from centers that are really fortunate that they get to have a lot of in-house professional learning. And I've heard from a couple educators who have come out to Strive events or other professional learning events. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize how much I was missing by not participating in the bigger community and hearing the multiple perspectives. And there is such diversity in our childcare centers and in our spaces that you are really fortunate, typically, generally speaking, to hear from folks of many cultures, races, backgrounds, life experiences. But when you step outside your organization, there's other values and other priorities and other ways of thinking.
For sure there is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I hope that's what you're getting out of your PhD too. It happens at all levels of education, we can see.
We can see. It happens everywhere. And it's really also helping scaffold my business, right? How to support educators, which is important. It really is realigning in the professional development and the professional learning that I'm offering, right? I'm listening to what educators need and want and what organizations want to provide their staff. And I think sometimes as facilitators, we don't always listen to that. We just look for the fanciest title and think what's trending right now and let's do that.
Yeah.
But what really needs to happen is we really need to take that feedback, really do some research, gather some data, really dig deeper to really see what we're offering our educators so they come out to the professional learning. Yeah. It's all about fostering that passion to still be in the field. Right. So when you really get professional learning opportunities that really ignite the learners in the space, then you know that you're doing the right thing. That's what brings me joy.
We should have turned the mics on as soon as you sat down because we always do this. Something you said right before we started was around kind of the evolution. And I think evolution's kind of maybe our theme for the day.
That's
the
it.
evolution of your work from PhD, the evolution of maybe where we talked about your experience as a Black educator, how that may have evolved, and then the evolution of professional learning.
Yes.
And you said, you're getting more requests for series or, not just these one-offs. The question is now what?
Now what?
How do we implement this into practice? What's the next step? People aren't your feeling.
Right.
And we're seeing it too. Of, that information was great.
But now what?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the transition. I think for professional learning, that there needs to be a second step. There needs to be, you've gotten this great information, and yes, you've gotten the PDF or you've gotten something, the takeaways, but now what? I need a follow-up session.
Yeah.
I need a check-in session. I need to go back and revisit it. And sometimes they even said, you need to hear something 2 or 3 times before it sinks in. And we give them this one fabulous thing and then off you go. And they're like, but maybe I wasn't in it that day. Yep. Maybe I didn't suck in all the information that I needed. I needed to hear it again. Maybe it wasn't the right space. Maybe I wasn't with the right people. There's a lot of factors into why a professional learning works for some and doesn't for others. Yeah. And are we really looking into that?
Do you find that particularly important when it comes to the diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, race, culture conversations?
Yes. And I think that for sure, a first session, they just are in the space. They're listening, right? They're not really they're not really wanting to share. They're not really comfortable. We need to build that relationship. So one session usually never gives true value. So for me, I would definitely do multiple. The first one is just, here we are. This is what we're going to be talking about. Maybe it is just that relationship building. Share your experiences. What are you hoping to get out of this? And that should stem, again, all of the things, right? Like that's your observational skills. That's your pedagogical documentation right there. Have those meetings and, okay, I'm taking in all what was said. Now I'm going to build for the next session. Then after that session, you're going to take that feedback again, and then you're going to do that follow-up session for that third session. Now, look, we've scaffolded something magical where they saw what they gave you, what you built, and now what they can do with it. And that's the transformational
evolution, if you will.
The evolution of professional learning, because now it has a foundation, it has structure, and it has follow-through.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're missing. I love the one-off. Sometimes that's just what you need. You need that pump up.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Let's get in the space. Let's get some information. But some of the topics need more.
And DEIB is one of those.
And some of the educators need more.
Yeah.
And they need more support. Yeah. And they don't want to feel like, oh, I'm just taking this professional learning because I was told to, or it was a requirement. I know we mentioned that before. And I do want to mention it because as a facilitator, it's difficult to come up with these fantastic workshops or professional learning opportunities, and the participants come in with a closed mind.
Yeah.
That closed mindset. They've already decided that they're not going to learn anything new, that they're not going to try any of these strategies.
Or I'm not racist. I don't need to have this conversation.
Exactly. Or this doesn't apply to me.
Yep.
Or this doesn't apply to our center, so we don't need to be here.
Oh, we don't have Black people in our center, so I
we don't
need
to
attend.
worry about it. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that is also, come into a space with that open mind. Come in with wanting to learn something new. Even if you say to yourself, I'm going to try my very best to come away with one takeaway.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're in the space.
Yeah.
So come in the space present, the same way you would in a classroom with the children, is the same way you should come into a space. Because those facilitators are working there for you. That's your support.
Yeah.
And your supervisors, your organizations are there supporting you. That's what support and guidance looks like. Yes, they might not be in your classrooms every day. And yes, they might not be attainable to every little small thing. But when they're offering you a professional learning opportunity, that is support and guidance.
Absolutely. Well, and I think it's hard because I believe in my core that educators want to do the best they possibly can for children and families.
Yes.
And they want to attend PL because they want to do better, do
Yes.
the best they can. But we also know the limitations
Yes.
facing
Yes.
the system.
Yep.
Frankly, and that's at all levels. We were chatting a bit about that before too, from post-secondary to the school systems to childcare and early years. Like all of these systems are greatly impacted.
Yes, they
right
are.
now.
They really are.
And we know that coming out in the evening
It's hard.
It's hard.
Challenging.
It's hard.
It is
And so, the folks that are there,
mm-hmm.
the hope is you're giving up your evening anyway.
Yes.
The least you could do is come maybe with an open mind.
Yes.
Just be willing, maybe get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
Be just willing to participate in these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think and I hope that all educators believe there's no finish line when it comes to education and learning.
That's it.
There's no, I've arrived.
There you go.
I'm done. I'm the perfect educator.
No, we've got to keep growing and evolving.
The word of the day.
As educators. And like you said, I've dabbled in a little bit of everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Early childhood education is my foundation. Then again, elementary school teacher, and I see the struggles there. As an education consultant in childcare for the directors and leaders that are dealing with staff retention
mm-hmm.
and figuring out what PLs help and how do we help with the onboarding.
Yep.
To the post-secondary level where you see the students and the new graduates coming into the field and you want to support them and guide them. But does the post-secondary really support them in the way that they need for the field?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're worried about lesson plans and paperwork, and we're missing that relationship building, those critical beginning skills like reading a story, having a conversation, singing songs. Like, where are those foundational skills that we now as post-secondary professors aren't even teaching
mm-hmm.
because we're worried about getting through all of the other things?
Yeah.
So just knowing that there's so much that is going on in education, that how important it all is when it comes together.
Well, and I think, not to get political, but it speaks volumes of the power that we do hold when it comes to electing
That's right.
folks in power.
Mm-hmm.
And that advocacy piece of that puzzle too, because we can't just sit here and complain, as much as I love to sit and complain. Give me a cup of tea and a vent sesh any day.
What are we doing about
it?
What are we doing about it? And those are the questions that every educator needs to ask themselves, because advocacy looks different for everybody.
Yep.
For me, it was starting a podcast and getting my voice out there and doing professional learning, because I remember when I was starting out as an EC, we won't talk about how many years ago.
No, it was yesterday, obviously.
It was yesterday.
Yeah.
There was just nobody for me to turn to for guidance, support, or mentorship. There was no professional learning unless I hunted it for myself. There was nothing that drove me to keep learning. So I had to keep going back to school.
Right.
I had to keep finding my way. Then I'd go into the academia lens and I was like, I don't really love it here, but I see why I need it.
Yeah.
To be able to keep supporting who I need to support.
And be in the rooms you need to be
in the spaces I need to be in. So I kept going. And keep going.
And here you are.
You're
still going.
I'm still going. I'm sure my kids are all done with mom in school right now. They're probably like, okay, please let this be it for her. But I just feel like there's just so much need. And if I can help, I want to. And if I can support, I can. But most of all, it's for the educators and Black educators, ethnic educators that are in these fields that need to see people rise to the top. And if it's me, I'm willing to carry it on my back because I'm in that space.
You can't make me cry on another podcast.
Sorry.
Oh,
I want to be there. I want you to see me. I want you to see us in those spaces they said we couldn't be in. We're in. And I'm going to do it with purple hair and all. And I'm going to show up authentically. But most of all, I'm doing it for all of you that think you couldn't and you shouldn't, or you were told you shouldn't, or you showed you couldn't. You can. You will. Make sure that you are doing it because it drives you because you're impactful to the profession. I absolutely love this work. And yes, am I exhausted? Absolutely. I am tired all the time. I'm the first one to tell you I'm exhausted all the time. But when somebody says, could you do a session? Yes.
Yeah.
Can you do? Yes. If it fits on my schedule, yes. Because the more I show up is the more that you see me, is the more that you were seen and heard. So yes.
Really an inspiration. And I think that you don't necessarily have to follow in Marcia Nicole's footsteps of doing masters and PhDs and parenting 3 children and, all running a business.
Yes.
And all the things that you are doing. But know that whatever you want to do, you can do.
Yes.
And especially to educators of, Black educators, ethnic educators, as you mentioned, educators who there is more than just a glass ceiling.
Yes.
There are many, many ceilings.
Many.
And that is never the top. Let's keep breaking through them.
Yep. And don't always think that, I'm not in the room. Create rooms. Okay?
Yeah.
Create the rooms. I never wanted to do a podcast, but I wanted my voice to be heard. How can I do that if I'm not in the right spaces? Nobody's stopping you from writing a book.
Yeah.
Nobody's stopping you from a podcast. Nobody's stopping you from a YouTube channel. Nobody's stopping you from those things.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that is also, we need to not let fear stop us, not let guilt stop us. Because I think those two things come hand in hand. Oh, well, there's so many people already doing it.
Yes.
But they're not you. Right? There's so many people, this is saturated, but you're unique and different.
Mm-hmm.
Your message is different. Your experiences are different.
Yeah.
Right? How you present yourself is different. Okay, so I think that's also something educators don't hear enough of. It's just, it's a lot of work. Yes, of course it's a lot of work. But you get to have fun while you do the work. I absolutely love it.
It's work both ways. It's
It
work
does.
whether you stay feeling controlled and small, and it's work to create the rooms and be the voice and share your story. And if any of you want to come on the podcast and share your story, we're happy to be a stepping stone for that, because I couldn't agree with you more. There is never too much when it comes to educator, professional learning, empowerment, support, any of those things. And, we have never claimed to be the end all be all of professional learning. There are so many incredible voices out there and resources out there. This is not the only podcast you should be listening to. There are so many incredible, and let's lift each other up.
Yes.
Because we can, the louder we are as a collective, the more impact we're going to have with those bigger advocacy things that we were talking about before.
Absolutely.
2 for 2 on the crying. So I should have put the Kleenex in here. What was I thinking? I knew this was going to happen. Okay. So when we chatted last summer, we talked about potential kind of thesis or ideas you were working with your podcast, or with your PhD rather.
Yes.
How have those evolved?
Okay. So it's still in the draft.
Yeah.
Right? It is still in the draft, because at first I was looking at Black educators in early childhood education. Then I changed that to trajectory in leadership.
Okay.
And now we're looking at Black
specifically
educators.
for trajectory and leadership, specifically for Black educators?
Yes.
Okay.
So now we've pivoted and shifted, and I think we're going to get specific, because, I'm coming down to writing it I'm weeks away now. But I really do think that Black educators' trajectory in leadership in early childhood education in Canada.
Okay.
So I think I've narrowed it down to where do we go from here? Who is in our higher ups?
Yes.
Who's up there?
Yeah. Great question.
Who are they? What are they doing for us? How are they supporting? If not, what needs to happen next?
Mm-hmm.
So those are some of the questions I'm posing in the research that I'm looking at. And I'm just super excited to get into the research.
I'll be so interested to hear some of those statistics that you find. And when you're into the research phase of the data, of what is the percentage of Black educators who are in leadership roles in Canada?
Yes.
I would guess
low.
that it would not mimic our population.
No, it's very low. And again, there's lots of other realms that are coming in because some want it to be, you should look at educators. Others are like, but then what about the teachers? And then what about post-secondary study? Like they're looking at where does the Black educator live in education?
Yes.
Because now it's a bigger picture.
Yeah.
Right? And right now in the beginning stages of the research, the numbers are startling. Like that's what brings tears to my eyes. Because it's like.
And why do you think that is? Why do you think Black educators are not pursuing the profession, or Black folks who are interested are not pursuing this profession?
There's multiple reasons. I think there's multiple factors that we need to look at. Some of them just might not feel like they're qualified to apply for those positions and roles. Some of them automatically feel like the minute somebody finds out they're Black, they won't even get interviewed. Right? That's another thing. Came down to hiring practices. Like I had to take that out of the question because the question was so big when I started, because I was looking at hiring practices, because that's the first step. Like, why are we not hiring? Are they not applying? Like, how do we? I had all kinds of questions. As you can see, I'm still in my head
still
with
wrestling
it.
it.
I'm still wrestling
I
with
love
it.
how this is evolving now.
And I'm grappling with all kinds of things. But it's the hiring practices. Like, are we hiring that? Like, what are we seeing in our childcare classrooms? What are we seeing in our elementary school classrooms? What are we seeing in our post-secondary classrooms?
I would also, I'm on a board of a childcare organization as well too. And I would argue, like, what does at your board level look like?
Right. What do your directors look like? What does leadership look like?
Right. Is this a true representation of the community that we're serving?
Exactly. And those are the questions that I ask.
I will tell you right now, there's not one Black person on our board.
Yeah. See? Yeah. I get that a lot. And I've been to a number of conferences where I have been the only Black speaker, the only Black person to come out. But yet I would walk into a space and the multiculturalism or the diversity is so
beautiful.
Grand.
Absolutely.
And I was just like, but your panel doesn't show that. Right?
And do we think part of that is because of a bit of your research and what you're going to dive into? Is it because folks are not entering the profession and therefore aren't elevating through the profession to be facilitators or be directors or leaders or board members or whoever they want to be? Or is there other levels of racism at play?
I think both. I think there's fear of educators not wanting to step up, feeling that, let's be real, if I step up and I get this job, I'm going to have to work twice as hard. Do I really want to take on that stress? That's another mental anguish that I have to wear on my back daily. Yeah. Do I really want to do that?
Yeah.
And others is there blatant racism? Yes.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
There is. Well, we only hired one person of color, so it looks like we have some diversity.
So we checked a box.
Yeah. And that's, don't get me wrong, that has been me in the past, and I've known it. 100%. I've known it. And what I didn't choose to do was wallow in it. I chose to stand strong in it, knowing that that's what it was, but also made suggestions when I was in that space. Was also brought others in the space with me. I made it seem like, oh, look, I have this great individual that does this. Maybe they can come and guest speak and make sure that more people could see that there's more than just me in this space. Because sometimes they just see me and they're like, oh, we're good. We don't need to see anyone else. And it's like, hi.
Yeah. Again, this is not a one and done situation.
Yes, exactly.
Back to what we were talking about. You can't just, we've hired the Black
hired
facilitator. Yeah. We're good.
No, but then, and it also joining other places. So even in spaces where I didn't think I would want to is, post-secondary, I joined some of, those places where like the curriculum, I haven't done curriculum development since I did my master's, but I was like, I can brush it up. I promise. Yeah. and I went to those meetings, and again, I was the only one. Right. And that's important to me. Like curriculum needs changing.
Yes.
Right. It needs evolution.
Yes.
We need to look at how our learners are learning. Let's talk about it. And sometimes in those spaces, it was like, whoa, we don't want to change it that much. You're a little bit too much, let's put the word. You're a little bit more enthusiastic than we need right now. We need to take smaller bites. With our smaller bites, we're getting less successful students. You're not adapting quick enough for today's student. And now we're hurting them because we're wasting the time that they have with their attention span and their developmental stage to get what we need in them because you're afraid. Because you're afraid to pivot. I love kindergarten. I love it. Kindergarten lesson plan, when I have to supply teach, kills me. Why is there a lesson plan? I'm here to play. I'm here to observe. I'm here to do these things. How do we assess it? What do you mean, how do you assess it? The play is the assessment. But we're not teaching that in Teachers College. So the teachers have no idea. So now we're back forcing children that are not used to being sit down to pen and paper, here, this letter, this number. We're also not dealing with the tech separation anxiety.
My son's in kindergarten and JK, and the first like parent teacher interview or whatever it was in the fall, it blew my mind because my view of kindergarten is we're play based, right? This is FTK, we play. And the way, I mean, he has a wonderful ECE and teacher and he's very, very happy, but my ECE hat and my pedagogical lead hat, when they were, opening the book and saying he can identify all these numbers. And I was like, okay, well, how did we assess that? Well, we sat down with him and asked him to tell me these numbers.
And there was no other way to assess that.
I was like, but what does he do during play? Because this boy loves numbers.
Right?
He loves to play with numbers. So, there's like a YouTube thing, number blocks.
Yes,
he's
absolutely.
obsessed.
I love number blocks.
Love number blocks.
Love number blocks.
Mac is obsessed with number blocks. And like if he plays with the numbers, he knows all of them.
All of them. Right.
But when you're holding a chart in front of him with 1 to 20, is he going to be able to identify it? And he is a white, blonde hair, blue-eyed boy. He has immense privilege in it. To that plus all the other factors that go into it, it just, I have thoughts on kindergarten.
I have thoughts on education, but same. So my 9-year-old, absolutely not a pen and paper type of learner, which I get. Look who his mother is. Come on.
Yeah.
He's been raised with manipulatives. Crawling around on the floor.
Yeah.
When I ask questions about how did this assessment go, and they're like, well, we asked him to write a sentence and he refused to write a sentence. Could he articulate the sentence? Of course he can articulate the sentence. He has beautiful vocabulary, even above grade level vocabulary. Okay. So what was the task we were assessing? Were we assessing the writing?
Or the comprehension.
Or the comprehension.
Yeah.
She said, the comprehension. Then he doesn't need to write it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Would you like him to write you a sentence? Yes, I'd like to assess his writing. So, okay. So what is he writing a sentence about? Oh, I made up a story and told him he has to write a sentence based on. How about you ask him to write you a sentence?
Of something he's interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask him to write him a sentence.
Yeah.
No. Why? You're assessing the sentence writing. We're starting with a capital. We're leaving spaces, right?
Yeah.
We're
ending with a period. We're doing all the things.
We're doing the things, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why can't he choose what he writes about?
Yeah.
Well, then everybody would choose something different to write about. Wait a minute. We're assessing the writing. Correct? Am I missing something?
When you say it like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay. Would you like me to try?
Yeah.
She said, sure. Fine. I go in.
Yep.
Hello, my son. Yes, Mom. How are you? I'm great. How are you? Did you have a great day? What are you excited about this week? Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. My brother's coming home. Okay. Where's your brother coming home from? He's been at baseball, at college. He's coming home this week. I'm excited. Yeah. Can you write that for me? Sure, Mom. My brother's coming home from baseball college on Wednesday this week. I'm so excited. Thank you. The teacher says, okay. Did he write you a sentence? Actually, he wrote me multiple sentences. Yeah. Okay. Is this an assessment for writing? Yes. There was no stress involved. Just asked him what he's happy about.
Right.
He'll write.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to write what you tell him to write. Right? So that's the difference. Same thing with math. He wasn't allowed to use manipulatives for math test. He came home in tears. I said to him, what is the matter? I understand the math. I just asked for some blocks.
Right.
There goes me now.
Yeah, honestly.
Right? There
honestly.
goes the teacher brain. Has to take off the teacher hat, put on the mom hat, put on the developmental hat, because we know that he's only 9. So why can't he have the manipulatives? Like, if that's his brain's working.
Totally.
Why?
So is the argument that if we do it for one, we have to do it for all the 30 in the room and there's only one teacher, and that's part of the issue?
That's part of the issue. But again, a part of the issue is differentiation instruction for teachers doesn't necessarily mean different worksheets.
Right.
Explain that in Teachers College. Differentiation instruction means having different modes of assessment. How can we assess them differently?
Right.
How can we get it without just pen and paper?
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with a verbal exit interview? Did they comprehend and understand the lesson?
So why can ECEs get this and they can't in the school systems? Like, educators are really great at assessing skill and learning through play.
But we also have the foundation of child development, which teachers, I think, especially if you're teaching kindergarten, it should be a part of your course.
Totally.
Yeah, 100%. If you're interested in teaching kindergarten, a child development course on learning and learning behaviors is important, and it's not a part of the curriculum right now. And I think that's another gap.
Sounds like we have a lot of things to just blow up and start over.
But I love that I do have both perspectives, the ECE and the OCT perspective, which when I do supply teach and I go in and I can show the value, I can demonstrate and model it for those teachers that have questions. I love that part because it's like, there's really good teachers out there. They just don't know. They didn't have access to learning it. So let's support them with that. It makes the writing the report cards, building relationships with those children so much easier. Right now, they are putting up that resistance because I don't want to sit down today and do this letter and you're counting and 1 to 20. I don't want it. I'm not in the mood today. I don't want to. Whatever reason, I didn't sleep well. I'm coming down with a cold, all the factors of a child. But yet you want to get it done today because you have report cards coming. Like,
well, and I think that's true across the ages that we are supporting is what is educator or teacher driven needs versus the child's needs. And I think that, sometimes, especially in early childhood education, we've talked about this before a bit, but like this pendulum swung almost like too far into the child-led.
Yes.
And totally away. And educators think they cannot lead play.
Right.
But that's not the case. It's really finding that balance between, what and that relationship piece you talked about earlier too. If you know the children in your program, you know what type of activity you can offer that day. You know what type of kind of scaffolding and extensions they're ready for that day and what they're not. You can really gauge that. And yes, it's hard. Yes, you have 16, 24 in your preschool room. You have 15 toddlers. And everybody has a different need. And I mean, just me and my 2 children at home, I'm like, everyone needs too many different things from me today. It's exhausting for sure. But how do we highlight the relationship and notice the uniquenesses of those children? Your son, his unique learning needs.
I think
my 2-year-old who's a wild little monster, like how do you balance it all?
First thing, balance is hard because when we use the word balance, everybody instantly thinks of a scale.
Yes.
So we're not looking for balance. We're looking to harmonize. We're looking for it to come together and work together. So I really think those first few weeks and months in a program when you're getting to know a child is not about assessment. It's about building those relationships. Can't support a child that doesn't trust their educator.
Yeah.
You can't support a child that doesn't believe that you're there to support them on the good days and the not so good days. You can't lead with assessment. And you really need to spend the time in the beginning fostering those relationships and trust building. Know your children. If I know that that my children love number blocks, guess what? We're going to watch number blocks, and then I'm going to go get the blocks, and I'm going to put numbers on them. Then I'm going to put them on the carpet and be like, can you tell me or remember what we saw?
Yeah.
Can you make me a number sentence? I don't know about you, but that's on my math assessment.
Totally.
Right? Like, again, experience helps with that.
Yeah. Knowing
what to draw, what to look for through play is also something that needs to be taught.
Yeah.
Right? We're not getting that. They need to be taught how to see the assessment in the play. Yeah. Right? We want to talk about, that fine motor, them being able to string two things together or being able to use scissors properly, right? Like being able to open their lunch container. Like, why does it have to be a structured sit down and do this? Yeah. And I know all of you educators and teachers are yelling at me, the parents want to see something. We need proof. Absolutely. They need proof. Documentation is, that's the proof, right? But we're also forgetting that we're not there for the parents.
Yeah.
We're there for the learning process of the child. We're forgetting that in our pedagogical practice. We are not just servants and service of parents.
Yes.
So the parents don't complain. We're service children.
That's number one priority.
And their development.
Yeah.
And even though the parents don't want to hear that, and I'm sorry to all the parents, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But your educators are there for children first. So if you didn't get your picture today, I apologize. You want to know why? I was engaged in learning. And
that's another piece, right? Like we've been in programs where educators are just behind their iPads the whole time. My best friend's a teacher, and years ago she had an EC partner in her room who the whole time just thought her job was, she had the iPad and she was documenting everything and wasn't engaging in the play. And how do you, yes, documentation is important.
Yes.
It demonstrates everything that you're doing. Yes. It demonstrates it all. However, when it's taken away from relationship building, engagement with the children, actually engage, like play with them. And you're just, that observer sitting in the corner observing piece.
Right. And being the silent observer and knowing that not everything needs an adult interaction. Right. I think that's another thing I've seen.
But then again, that swung so far. We have to observe the children, so that means I could just sit back and just watch.
Right, exactly. No. That's where we need that harmony piece.
Yes.
Because if we look at balance, you're trying to put one above the other, and that's not necessarily the case. So it's that harmony piece. The children. When they're really engaged with something, and that you can step back and don't need to intervene. But you also know when they're not going to get to that next step unless you ask that probing question.
Yeah.
And if you built that relationship, you will know when it's time to engage or to disengage. And I think that is also something as educators in our pedagogical practice, when it comes to reflecting and truly reflecting, we need to do something new. And I know all you educators are going to yell at me, and I know it. I know. I know.
I get yelled at a lot this episode.
I get yelled at a lot. But doing reflective practice later is not helping us. We need to start reflecting in the moment.
Okay.
I know all of you were just like, oh, she got us. Yeah, I did. And yes, it takes practice. It takes years of practice. But being able to reflect in the moment and to be able to pivot. Because we always say, oh, I'll get back to that. I'm going to reflect on that later. But the emotions are happening now. So if reflecting now happens, then that's a better outcome for what you're going to provide next for that child. Right?
Yeah.
Because we're always putting stuff off for later. And then there's 5 other things that come up and you forget.
Yes. So how can they reflect in the moment?
So reflecting in the moment. This takes practice, and I've gotten really good at knowing how much my capacity could take when I'm doing reflecting in the moment. Okay. So if I know something is that I need to write it down right now, there is stickies and something close by. There is, for me, it's a voice note.
Okay.
I'm a huge voice noter.
Yeah.
And now with all the tools, those voice notes become text in seconds.
Yeah.
Right? So I do that right away. I voice note right away. I have a little tape recorder that's in my pocket. And while I'm observing at the back, this and this happened. Yeah. This and this happened. It's reflection in the moment. Right? Because when I get back to later for me is not working.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I'm jumbling two situations together. Sure. Find out what works for you. If you're a writer, find a sticky.
Yeah. Find
a notebook.
Yeah.
Something small that you can keep in your pocket. The little pocket-sized notebooks are great. Nothing too, I feel like when we have clipboards, gone are the days of the clipboards because the children are like, oh, what are you writing?
Yes.
Like, I feel like it needs to be a little bit more discreet.
Right.
So I love my pocket recorder. I love the miniature notebooks that are really, really good. And I also have like I even remind myself. So give myself little taglines. So if somebody was really good with blocks, maybe I'll put child's names, red and blue blocks, even just to re-trigger that memory. Because sometimes it's like, we're getting older. I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm like,
I feel like I have the memory of a goldfish, honestly.
Right? Like, I'm like, how do I remember what happened? So I do things like that to be able to reflect in the moment.
I love that.
Little tips and tricks that we just got to make it a little bit easier on us to be able to be the best versions of ourselves as educators as we can.
This work is hard enough as it is. What can we do to make it easier in the moment?
In the moment.
And then long term too, your documentation will be better if you have these notes and can reflect back. Like you have the instant reflection that you can pull back up. I love that. Yeah. So evolution, since is our topic.
Yes.
Since our conversation last year, our Let's Have an Uncomfortable Conversation with Black Educator, any evolving thoughts that have emerged from that?
A lot of evolving thoughts. So I have had the privilege of doing a podcast for 3 years. And this year I've actually had to take a pause because the PhD study and being a mom, I was like, I just want to say for everyone that has sent me messages and DMs, thank you. I'm sad that you're missing me, but I'm grateful that it was helpful along the way. With that being said, the podcast is coming.
She's coming back.
I'm coming back. I'm hoping to come back in the second half of the year, but with a new name. And the new name to the podcast is Evolve, Inspiring Educators. I have so many branches that I am servicing, from early childhood educators to teachers to leaders to post-secondary faculty, that I just wanted us all to feel like there's one space for educators to feel supported and guided, and we are continuing to evolve.
I love that. I love that. I think it's so important and such a healthy demonstration of how things change over time, and not necessarily, just sticking with it because it's what you've been doing and you don't want to give up on it. What you want to do is be responsive to what you're seeing and taking the time to evolve your practice as you can to meet the needs of the community. So I love that. Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you. And you're going to continue your PhD work.
I'm going to continue my PhD work.
And you're going to continue being a rock star mom to 3 beautiful children.
Yeah, we're going to try our best with that.
Yeah.
Some days are harder than others. But,
yeah, I feel that. I
right?
feel that.
It's like, wow.
Yeah. I love that. Well, and thank you again for just always just being so authentic and real with us and our community. And joining in conversation again, like we could talk for hours, which again, maybe this have to be like an annual thing.
I agree.
Just like reflections every year,
yep.
How it goes, because every time we talk, I mean, again, we just need to have mics recording us at all times, because they always dig into something.
We really do.
Right?
We do.
So if you missed Marcia, because today is Evolving Pedagogy.
It is.
So if you missed Evolving Pedagogy, stay tuned. Who knows what the future will bring.
That's right.
And in the meantime, we'll link all your things so folks can find you.
Absolutely.
Social media. Yes. All that good stuff.
Beautiful.
Thank you for such a wonderful conversation.
Thank you for having me. I love coming here. I love talking with Allie. And I love to support this community. It's absolutely fantastic.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
You and your purple.
No, always purple.
I love it.
Purple.
All right.
Thanks so much for listening. You can connect with us on Instagram at Leading Inspired Learning Pod or on our website at striveswo.ca/podcast. I would love to have you tell a friend or colleague about this podcast. Thanks again for listening. Please join us next time.